Okay, so in this problem, we're going to be doing the long division in order to find the slant asymptote. And so I'm going to begin by drawing the x squared minus 4 divided by x minus 1. And since there's no x's inside here, I'm going to put a 0x just so that in the future, if I see any x's, I'll have a place to organize them under this column, basically. Okay, by the way, the x squared plus 0x, sorry about that, the x squared plus 0x minus 4 has a name. It's called the dividend. Dividend. It's not super important if you know this or not, but that's the name. And the x minus 1 is going to be called the divisor. This is kind of important, so maybe we should know this. And so this is how it's going to work. We're going to pretty much look at x, then look at x squared. And the question is, how can I turn the x into an x squared? What do I multiply x by to make it x squared? The answer is x. So once you decide what the answer is, you're going to actually perform the product. So you're going to multiply x with x, and then you're going to write the answer down here, x squared. Then you're going to do x times negative 1, which is negative x. So there you go. This is the reason why I put the 0x earlier, so that I have a place to put the negative x right now. Now, when you're doing long division, you're supposed to subtract, but instead of subtracting mentally, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to a scratch, we're going to go get our eraser out, and right now there's an invisible plus sign here. We're going to erase it and put the opposite of that. We're going to turn it into a minus. And then the minus that's over here, we're going to get rid of it, and we're going to put a plus there. And we're going to go ahead and add. This is easier than to subtract mentally. If you're doing things right, these two right here will cancel out. 0x plus x is going to be x, and then we just bring the negative 4 down. Then repeat all over again. I want the x to become an x. What do I multiply x by to make it into an x? The answer is, oops, again, I'm not sure what's going on. The answer is going to be positive 1. So we'll go ahead and multiply now. So 1 times x is x. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. And again, before you combine like terms, flip the signs around. So this one's positive, it becomes negative. This one's negative, it becomes positive. And if we combine them together, the result will be negative 3. This is the end. So what is the answer? The answer is the slant asymptote is going to be y equal to the quantity in red. Now, a lot of people forget to write the letter y. Just remember the y is important. It has to be an equation of a line. It has to have an x and a y. So if you forget the y, you're going to lose points basically, okay? Because you're not given the complete equation. If you don't give the y, you get x plus 1, and this is not even an equation of a line. Remember, we're looking for the equation of a line. So, by the way, the x plus 1 has a name. It's called the quotient. And the number that I put in the circle at the very, very end, the negative 3, is called the remainder. And for the purposes of finding the slant asymptote, the remainder doesn't play a huge role. Okay, so pause the movie or the video for a second and see if you can go ahead and do the second problem. Okay, so we're going to begin by lining up the 2x squared plus x minus 1 under the division sign with the x minus 3 on the outside. And we're going to mimic the steps that we did previously. And so here we go. I'm going to start with the x, and I'm going to ask myself, how can I make it look like 2x squared? What do I multiply x by to make it 2x squared? The answer is 2x. Once you figure that out, multiply the 2x and multiply it with the 3. So 2x times x is going to be 2x squared. 2x times negative 3 is going to be negative 6x. And before you combine like terms, remember to switch. This one is positive, it's invisible, make it negative. This one is negative, make it positive. And combining like terms, what do I get? I get nothing, then 7x, and then the negative 1 comes down. Okay, then repeat. I want the x to become 7x. What do I multiply x by to make it 7x? The answer is positive 7. Once you figure out the quotient, 7, you're going to multiply the 7 with the x and then 7 with the 3. So 7 times x is going to be 7x. 7 times 3 is going to be negative 21. Okay, now switch the signs around. This one's positive, make it negative. This one's negative, make it positive. And let's combine like terms. 7x goes away. Negative 1 plus 21 is going to be at the end 20. So the solution, the slant asymptote, is y equal to 2x plus 7. Oops, plus 7. There we go. So that's the answer to this question.